Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Bill Indiana. I'm finally finishing off my recap of all the games that I played over the summer. Did a lot of traveling all over several states, several cities, so didn't really make any hardly videos over the summer as I was out of town so much. And just want to still share what were some of the highlights of the games that I played May, June, July, and now August, so you can check out. I'm trying to make them pretty short videos using BGA to streamline the process rather than showing you all the boxes and going into detail like I have in the past. So hopefully you like this format. I'd love to hear if you've been watching these last few. Let me know if you like this format. Better, worse, equally compared to the others for those of you that have watched some of my other monthly recaps in the past. But if you want to hear what I liked best in the month of August 2023, stay tuned. So as I said, the BGA usage here kind of streamlines the process. I'm not going to talk about every game, but kind of highlight a few things and then emphasize the ones that I enjoyed the most. You can see in August I had 43 gameplays. If you look back over 2023, it's on the higher side. We've had a few in the 30s, a few in the 40s, had a high in April and a pretty high in July. But 43 is quite a few games. And what stands out to me if you look at the thumbnails in August is in most of the months it was 20 games, 22 games, but in this month you can see it was 33 games, and 20 of these 33 were new to me. So lots of games played in August, and a lot of new games. So quickly running through the overall list, and then I'll highlight the ones I enjoyed the most. Cartographer is one of my all-time favorites. Played that online, actually on I think it's called Happy Meeple site. Evergreen played online on BGA. Splendor on BGA. Adventures of Robin Hood, Friar Tuck, and Danger. We picked up the expansion to the Adventures of Robin Hood. We had played through all of Adventures of Robin Hood before, my wife and I, and so we've been enjoying getting back into this new expansion. Caldera Park, the last couple times towards the end of August, I actually traded this away for another game, and I'd played it quite a few times over the summer. A nice little tile playing game by Kramer and Kiesling. Hooky, the first time I played this, I was just so lost. I didn't have any idea what I was doing for the longest time. But the second time was a lot clearer to me. I started to understand how to use the tool to make my notes and track what I was learning from each of the different stages of the game. And so it's a deduction game, which I'm not typically that good at, and a word game, which I'm also not always great at, but it was a fun little game. Amun-Re, the 20th anniversary edition, I received this Kickstarter, and it was fun to finally get it to the table. I actually had a friend teach it to me and our gaming group, because he had played the game before, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very unique kind of type of bidding that you do in this game and trying to gain control in different areas, and the way the scoring works, and some of that's known and some of that's hidden. Just the one play, so I'd like to play it a few more times before I really make a final decision, but at first impression that I really enjoyed it. Archaeo Society, I played, you can see down here, Ethnos and Archaeo Society, played them just within a few days of each other, and I liked Archaeo Society, but I like Ethnos quite a bit better. A lot of people say they like the art of Archaeo Society better, and the art just didn't stand out to me, actually. And the gameplay, I think, is virtually the same, although it's tracks instead of area of control. And I liked Ethnos better, so I'll just spoil that already. Baseball highlights, played that with a friend. He taught me how to play. I love baseball. Didn't love this game. It was okay. I'd be willing to try it again, but it felt a little clunky to me. It didn't feel like playing a game, so of baseball at least. So Canvas, played that on BGA, and it was fine. I didn't ever read the rules, so I was trying to figure out as I went, and it's enjoyable, pretty simple. Even without reading the rules, I think I kind of figured out along the way what was going on. Castronauts, towards the beginning of August when we were still up in Seattle, played that with the grandkids. Chai Deluxe Edition, also played that with our daughter and her husband up in Seattle early in the month when we were up there. More recently played Deus with my gaming group and enjoyed that one. A nice, unique card-playing game and multi-use cards, so fun game there. Dune Imperium, one of my all-time favorites, played it on the last day of August, played it with both Rise of Ix and Immortality expansions together. Fabulous game, loved it. Earth, got another chance to play that one again, this time on BGA. As I mentioned, played Ethnos for the first time ever and really enjoyed that. Just played with 6 of the different factions. And when we played Archaeo Society, the factions are different, but most of them function almost identically to the factions in Ethnos. And we did, I think, 4 different ones in Archaeo Society than what I had done in Ethnos. And so I've seen about 10, I think, of the 12. And so enjoying both versions, but definitely would always choose Ethnos first if I have the option. And I do own Ethnos and not Archaeo Society, so I'll have that to play again. Expedition, got that towards the end of the summer and haven't just played it the one time with some friends. Played it in a 4-player game. It was a blast playing with the friends. We love getting together with them to play games. It felt a little slow with 4 players. I have a feeling it might feel more snappy at a smaller player count, but I enjoyed it at 4 players. And there was quite a bit of blocking at 4 players. I'm interested to see what it'll feel like at 2, because I wonder if there will be a kind of a feeling of being wide open and being able to do whatever you want. So curious to try it, but just the 1 play so far. Federation played with my game group. Really enjoyed that one. A really fun Euro with lots of interesting twists. And so that was a good game. Globetrotting. If you saw the July video, I mentioned that my wife and I played it. Then we took it up to Seattle and had a chance to play it with the kids up there, our daughter and her husband. And fun little game, cute. It's fun to route out your map on those little globes with the wet erase markers. Cleanup, not so fun, but gameplay was fun. Harry Potter Strike, the dice game. Just did that as a quick opener one night when playing games with friends. I'd never played Strike before, so that was a lot of fun. In the Footsteps of Darwin, also played that same night with a friend. He taught me how to play this one. I really liked it. Very simple, but I liked the choosing of the tiles and the putting the patterns out and kind of math out how you can maximize your points. And we had a really close game. I think he beat me by just a couple of points, or we might have even tied and he won on the tiebreaker. It was really close, and really enjoyed that game. The King is Dead 2nd edition. I would love to play this one again just the one time, and so it's kind of figuring out what the cards are and how they work, and we just played with the base, not any of the alternate cards you can mix in, which I think would be fabulous. I think I want to pick this one up at some point. I really enjoyed The King is Dead and want to play that one again. And it's a Pierre Sylvester game, so I picked up recently Brian Boru, and I'd really like to get that to the table and see how that compares. I just got to get a bigger game group because it's 3 minimum, and I've heard it's better with 4 and 5 for Brian Boru. So King is Dead was really nice with 2. I forget how many players you can go up to with that one, 4 or 5, but it was fun with 2 as well. Llama Land played with the kids up in Seattle. It was a lot of fun, cute, 3D stacking and things. I'd like to try that one again. Next Station London just played one time and again on BGA. Pioneer Days played the same night as King is Dead, In the Footsteps of Darwin, Strike. Did a lot of games that night. A lot of fun. Pioneer Days is really a great game in my opinion. I enjoyed all the decision making and trying to avoid the disasters that are coming with plagues and tornadoes. I forget all the, just after that one play, I forget all the terminology, but I remember there's something was going to kill your cows, and there was like some weather disaster, and there was some sort of raid where they were going to steal your money. All kinds of things you're trying to time out, and you know they're going to happen, and it's how can you best prepare for those things? Can you get the medicine you need? Can you get the wood to fix your cart? Lots of fun decision making, and we just played 2 players. I think it would feel really different and interesting with more players, and not that it wasn't good with 2. I think it would probably just feel very different. With 2, we were often incentivized to kind of help each other because we both had a lot of similar things building up in our tableau. So really enjoyed Pioneer Days. Would love to play that one again. Rainforest, a fun little interesting pattern building game played on BGA. Ramen Fury, I mentioned back in the July. We played, my wife and I, to learn it, and then played with the kids up in Seattle. A fun one where you're just building up little bowls of ramen and trying to put the perfect toppings on it. Santa Maria played with some friends of ours, played a 4-player game of it. I enjoyed it. Of the Euros that I've played recently, it would rate a little bit lower than most of them, and I don't know if it was the art, if it was the gameplay, if it was just how I was feeling that night. I don't know. I enjoyed the game, but several other ones stand out to me more in my recent game, Euro gaming. Steam Up, took that up to Seattle and played that with the kids. It's such a cute game. It's very simple and very light, but it's really fun to just get those little spongy pieces and pull them out of your dim sum little trays. As I mentioned in July, if you saw that video, got to play Survive Escape from Atlantis. The grandkids called it the shark game, and we just had so much fun with that, playing with them. Tender Blocks, another one with the kids, a little dexterity game. And then played Touring Machine the same night as Dune, so the last night of August. It was interesting. It took me a while to wrap my head around how the clues should be used. In fact, I ended up making a guess where I could have actually gotten more information if I would have understood it more thoroughly. I might have just been a little tired because it was after a long game of Dune. But I would like to try that one again. It was clever. And then Wandering Towers, played that night with Darwin and King is Dead, and all those games had a really long game night. So much fun, 2-player game of it. I love the shell game feel of it. I love the race feel of it, and how you're constantly trying to figure out where your people are and how to get them into the tower and how to maximize the spells. And really, really clever game. I think that might be one I would want to pick up at some point. It's cute. It's pretty easy to understand, and there's a lot of little clever things to think about. So Wandering Tower is a lot of fun. So now, what are the games that were not new to me that I loved the most? And then what were the games that were new to me that I loved the most? So we'll start with the ones that were not new to me. I really loved Adventures of Robin Hood, Friar Tuck. My wife and I just enjoy that game so much, and just sitting down with her and trying to puzzle it out. I will say that we went through sort of the epilogue and kind of worked through that really quickly and pretty easily. And then we got onto the first main adventure and lost. So actually we lost it once, like in the first 2 or 3 minutes. And we did something, I can't remember what it was. And we're like, okay, we're never going to accomplish this. So we started over. And then we made it all the way to the end, and we were real close, but just couldn't quite pull it off. But still lots of fun. And then the other one, Dune Imperium, one of my favorite games of all time. And I hadn't played Immortality yet, so it was great to finally get that to the table, and mixing it in with Rise of Ix. I just can't get enough of that game. I wish I would get it to the table more often. For some reason, I'm not sure why I don't, because I love it so much. So those are the two that really stood out to me as games that I have played in the past that were just amazingly fun even today. And then some of my highlights for new games to me. So the surprise was probably Hooky, because the first time I thought, man, I don't even know if I like this game. And then the second time I was like, okay, I understand it better. And yeah, I liked it better. It still wouldn't be one of my favorites, but it was better than I thought it was going to be, and better than it felt the first time, which the person who taught us, my friend John, he said that the second time around will be a lot better. And he was correct. All right, Ethnos really was a great one. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Deus was really fun. That was a nice new one. Those are both kind of Euro games with, you know, especially Ethnos with the area control, feels a little bit like Ameritrash as well. Really enjoyed The King is Dead and In the Footsteps of Darwin, and Wandering Towers as well. A bunch of kind of easier, quicker, lighter games, easy to learn, but some nice strategy to think through, especially with The King is Dead. And I think if we have a chance to play again and mix in some of those other cards, that one I think really has some interesting staying power potentially. And then Pioneer Days, as I mentioned, just so many fun decisions to make. And it just felt like kind of playing Oregon Trail, but not everybody died of dysentery. So yeah, a lot of fun. Pioneer Days, another one. So it's hard to pick my favorite, because this was a really great month of a lot of bangers, some just wonderful new games. And yeah, I'm not sure I can pick a favorite of all of those. I guess if I had to pick, I would probably go with Pioneer Days in terms of the new one. With the repeats, Dune Imperium and Adventures of Robin Hood, I have to say a tie. Dune Imperium, I think, is the better game, but the fun that my wife and I have with Adventures of Robin Hood is just equally enjoyable. So that was my month of August. If you look over these games and some of them are your favorites or some you don't like, I'd love to read about it in the comments down below. Tell me what you like or don't like about these games. Also, what did you play in August? What were some of your favorite gameplays, game that you played the most in August? Maybe even some new games that you discovered in the month of August. I'd love to read about those in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching. This is Bill Indiana, signing off.